Welcome back. Mark and Annie Overton have caught a bug. The bug is an incurable love affair with the poor and disadvantaged kids on the streets of Brazil. This privileged Kiwi couple have been transforming the lives of Brazilian youngsters for several years now, but just recently their work has been rocked by a shocking act of violence. Will Mark and Annie's work survive the setback? We sent Rob Harley to find out.
It's a warm Saturday evening in a slum in northeastern Brazil. Mark and Annie Overton from Auckland are like Pied Pipers here. They've forsaken the flash suburb of Herne Bay to work with the street kids and the poor in the town of João Pessoa.
We saw this video about the street children in Brazil. That's what was the first sort of step for us, and after that we started to make plans to really do something about it. And that changed our lives.
So they left behind home comforts and relocated to the slums. She's how old?
20. And this child's also got a really bad cough, and she hasn't taken to the doctor. There's a health clinic just across the road.
Mark and Annie do what they can. They've scrounged a few pharmaceuticals to help people like this 20-year-old pregnant mother of 3 with a very sick child who couldn't afford local medical care.
As if she goes over there, they'll prescribe her a prescription medicine, which would be like half the month's wages.
I've asked them if she's had her tubes tied.
It's an approach she knows some would find controversial. But Annie Overton hands out strongly worded advice on things like birth control without blinking.
And as you can see, there's not a lot here, and they've got 4 children. And so I'm going to talk to her about registering so she can get contraceptives, and then to see if she can have her tubes tied at a later date.
You're going to raise that subject delicately now, are you?
Not yet, really, like straight there, straight for the jugular. So I'm just saying, you've got 4 beautiful children, and children cost money, so surely you'd be quite happy just having 4. And if I could get you organised for your tubes to be tied, don't you think that'd be a good idea?
Is she responding favourably?
He is. I was going to ask her.
You find the real labour of love for the Overtons is across town in João Pessoa at an orphanage they run.
He's 11 years old. He's been with us since he's 6. And this is his little sister, Natasha, and she's been with us since she was 4. Hey, Tashi.
How did they come to be with you?
Their mother died of cancer, and then their father, the shop that he was working for, went bankrupt, and then he was shot.
The kid's dad, Genival, who's visiting the orphanage this day, was in fact shot through both legs. Now he can barely walk. He relies on Mark and Annie to care for his 3 children.
Part of his problem is because the doctor didn't do the surgery properly. And it's just like, oh, tough pickies.
It's not like you can just whip off to the medical council like you can in New Zealand and lay a complaint.
No, because they're not interested.
This is indeed a job of multiple challenges caring for these youngsters. 13-year-old Zeze brings Mark a new one this morning. A letter from her dad from jail, a dad she barely knows.
Her father was sent to prison for rape when Zezalanda was just 7 years old. So she has completely changed, obviously, because she's a young woman now.
Now Zeze is torn. It's a very affectionate letter. How would she feel about going back to Dad if and when he comes out of jail?
She doesn't really know her dad anymore because he's been in jail for 7 years or 6 years. But there's no reason for her not to love him.
From the moment you enter the orphanage in João Pessoa, your eyes are drawn to one stunning child, much younger than the rest. This is Mark and Annie's daughter, Lydia. They call her the $500,000 baby.
Oh. We heard that she'd been abandoned on the streets of Cabedelo, which is a city quite close to here.
And, I mean, was it like the classic baby in the basket on the doorstep deal? What happened?
It sounds like it was like that, yes.
Before allowing the Overtons to adopt Lydia, the Brazilian government insisted not only on thorough checks to ensure it was a genuine case of abandonment, but they also required Mark and Annie to invest $500,000 in the country as a gesture of good faith. There came a day when a Brazilian judge said yes.
Oh, I cried and gave the judge a hug. It was so special. It was just the most perfect day. We had witnesses with us who knew Lydia, who knew us very well. It was all decided before we even walked in. And it was one of the best days of my life, that we'd battled so hard for this little girl and we'd got her, and that no one can ever take her away. And that, well, any mother knows, you know, what that would feel like.
So now Lydia and the kids in the orphanage they run, mostly with donated money from New Zealand, are a huge task.
Okay, vamos lá.
Jobs and an easy life back in New Zealand, a pretty distant memory. Although the favelas resonate with music and often appear to have a quiet, homely sedateness about them, they are places of desperate need. The children, often as not, come from homes where drunkenness and violence prevail, and the town is a patchwork of modest homes in one street, backing onto sheer squalor just metres away. What has struck the Overtons ever since they arrived here is the fact that Brazil presents such radical contrasts. Hit the beach in João Pessoa, and sometimes you could be fooled into thinking that prosperity has arrived. But as the vulture flies, it's less than a kilometre to where the desperate scavenge among the garbage to find something of use to barter for another day's survival. The highlight of the Overtons week while I'm there, Mark and Annie get to tell a girl called Vanessa and her grandma formally that things are about to get dramatically better with help from some Kiwis.
A group of people in New Zealand heard her story, and a group of other people have decided to build Vanessa a new house. So I'm getting a bit emotional.
Donadora's just been telling me how the house is just so full of cockroaches and rats at the moment. It's just, poor Vanessa's been waking up screaming because it's been so horrible.
Ah, kitchen in the bedroom. Unusual feature.
Here is
a key.
the key to your house.
It's a chave de sua casa.
And it says,
A Vanessa.
to Vanessa, with love from New Zealand. Your house is going to have a toilet, and it's going to have a shower, and it's going to have a kitchen, and it's going to have 2 bedrooms.
We're starting to see some good fruit now with the children in the favelas, the slums, and also our children. They're dreaming. Before you'd ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they go, oh, I don't know. They'd never thought about it. And now, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a dentist, I want to be an engineer, I want to be... Whether they'll achieve those, it doesn't matter. They've got a dream. And that's the neat thing about it.
But as must be obvious, the slums are hard on dreams. Here's the latest from João Pessoa. They're making good progress on Vanessa's house. The transformation, stunning. But there've been shocking developments at a little church where Mark and Annie do much of their work with the kids. A couple of weeks ago, the church was raided by bandits. Computers and educational materials trashed or stolen, and a 21-year-old missionary was gang raped. The kids are all very scared. Mark and Annie's program here is on hold for a while, till people feel it's safe again. The cost for the Overtons of leaving home and rebuilding a life for themselves and Lydia and the other kids will obviously be high some days, but all worthwhile.
I want to see change to break the poverty cycle. I want them to learn things like forgiveness and how to say sorry, and how to be respectful of other people, and how to have strength of character that they will be respected rather than just slum children. I'd like to see them transformed, lives transformed.
Well, I have good news. Mark tells us they're planning to resume classes with the kids from the slum in the next couple of weeks. Also, a few days ago, Mark got his licence to sell those potato peelers. Now, if you would like to get in touch with the Overtons or assist them, you can get more information by writing to them, Mark and Annie Overton, care of Box 8005, Simon Street, Auckland.